Princess Diana, as you've never heard her before.
Secret tapes never showed it.
And I said, Camilla, I'd love to have a word with you.
Unguarded in private conversations.
I knew exactly what's going on.
Camilla was revealed as Charles's mistress.
It was anger. It was 7 years of pent-up anger.
Diana was living every wife's worst nightmare.
I once heard him on the telephone saying, whatever happens, I'll always love you. Walking down the aisle, I spotted Camilla.
What effect did that have on you?
Really devastating.
She deserved to know that before she went down the aisle.
I had no idea what I was going into.
She became stick thin.
She didn't know who to trust.
I knew that something profound was coming my way.
The Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed.
She was the queen of people's hearts.
Years after her tragic death, the story is still unfolding.
I was at the end of my tether. I was desperate. And I got 2 children to bring up. I'll fight till the end.
So she decided to go straight to Camilla.
I said, I want my husband.
That was quite brave of her.
And I could feel all hell breaking loose. What is she going to do? We had this girl interview the day we announced our engagement.
You find the words sum up how you feel today, both of you.
Just delighted and happy.
And I suppose in love.
Of course. Oh, what a thick question. And Charles turned around and said,
Whatever in love means.
That threw me completely. It traumatised me.
And the heartbreak just kept coming.
I walked into this man's office one day and I said, oh, what's in that parcel? Oh, he said, you shouldn't look at that. I said, well, I'm going to look at it. So I opened it and there was a bracelet.
But the bracelet wasn't for her. It was for Camilla.
Mrs. Barker-Bowles is a great friend of mine and will continue to be a friend for a very long time.
It had Charles and Camilla's nicknames on it. This happened just 2 weeks before their wedding.
I went upstairs, had lunch with my sisters who were there, and I said, I can't marry him. I can't do this. This is absolutely unbelievable. And they said, well, you're too late to chicken out.
Diana was raised knowing she had a duty to perform, no matter how she truly felt.
How aware were you of the significance of what had happened to you?
I wasn't daunted, and I'm not daunted by the responsibilities that role creates.
Diana Spencer grew up in one of the grandest aristocratic families in England.
I was a rebel. I always did the dares. I always did the opposite for everybody else. I was always there. And said to my father, when I was the age of 13, I know I'm going to marry someone in the public eye.
Do you have any thoughts about the lady that a Prince of Wales should marry?
Prince Charles was not looking for love. He was looking for someone who can share the burdens and duties. Love was not top of the agenda. As far as Diana was concerned, it was.
When you've had divorced parents like myself, you'd want to try even harder to make it work.
Diana thought that getting married meant Charles would be faithful.
And I remember being so in love with my husband that I couldn't take my eyes off him.
Here is the stuff of which fairy tales are made.
Walking down the aisle, I spotted Camilla, vivid memory. And I thought, well, there we are, that's it. Let's hope that's all over with.
It wasn't long after the wedding you became pregnant. What was your reaction when you learned that the child was a boy?
Enormous relief. I felt the whole country was in labour with me. I feel my role is supporting my husband and always being behind him, encouraging, and also, most important thing, being a mother and a wife. That's what I try to achieve.
Being a mom came naturally to Diana. It brought out a side of her that no one had seen before.
To myself and William, she was just the best mother ever. She was one of the naughtiest parents. She had a very cheeky sense of humour. She would just engulf you and squeeze you as tight as possible. It was that love that even if she was on the other side of a room, you could feel it.
And when she showed that side of herself to the world, they loved her.
You very much created the role that you would pursue for yourself.
I was compelled to go out and do my engagements and not let people down and support them and love them.
But she always understood that there was a real life outside of palace walls.
You look as if you've got tears in your eyes. Why?
I've been waiting for so long to see her.
Diana's modern, human approach made her extraordinarily popular.
She'd come back with all these stories and full of excitement and just passion for what she'd been doing.
But there was one person who wasn't excited for Diana.
So they were expressing a preference even then for you rather than your husband?
Yes.
I've come to the conclusion that really it would have been far easier
to have had 2 wives.
If you're a man, or my husband, a proud man, do you feel low about it, instead of feeling happy and sharing it?
And the threat of Camilla still lingered.
A husband who loves someone else, yes.
You really thought that?
Mm-hmm. I didn't think that, I knew it.
She was aware things had been going on. The staff all knew. Everybody knew where he was going. So she didn't know who to trust.
What effect did that have on you?
Pretty devastating. It's just a feeling of being no good at anything and being useless and hopeless. It was already difficult, but it became increasingly difficult. When no one listens to you, all sorts of things start to happen. I chose to hurt myself instead of hurting all of you.
She became stick thin. There was concern, but it was explained away by the palace at the time, and we accepted what they said.
People were using my bulimia as a coat on a hanger. They decided that was the problem. Diana was unstable. I was crying out for help, but giving the wrong signals. And I was actually crying out because I wanted to get better and continue my duty and my role as wife, mother.
Diana knew the only way to move forward was to confront the truth.
We went to this ghastly party for Camilla's sister, and nobody expected me to turn up. But again, a voice inside me said, just go for the hell of it. I was very, very honoured. And I said, Camilla, I'd love to have a word with you if possible. But I know exactly what's going on. She said to me, you've got everything you've ever wanted. All the men in the world fall in love with you. You've got 2 beautiful children, what more do you want? So I said, I want my husband. You know what's going on, don't you? No, I can. In the car I cried like I've never cried before. It was anger. It was 7 years of pent-up anger coming out. Cried.
It was clear to Diana that there was no hope. Charles was never going to choose her.
Diana chose to leave him and became the fearless mom her sons needed.
I will fight for my children on any level in order for them to be happy and have peace of mind.
It is announced from Buckingham Palace that the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate.
So I believe that I have a role to fulfill. And I got 2 children to bring up.
Without Charles, Diana embraced her true self.
Once she was no longer a member of the royal family. She, I think, just felt a sense of freedom.
And I found myself being more and more involved with people who were rejected by society. I found an affinity there. When I used to sit on hospital beds and hold people's hands, people used to be sort of shocked because they said they'd never seen this before. And to me, it was quite a normal thing to do. And when I saw the reassurance that I did it everywhere, and we'll always do that.
HIV does not make people dangerous to know. So you can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it.
She wanted to make a difference.
This was a new Diana, independent, modern, confident, the people's princess.
And she made sure that her sons would follow in her footsteps.
I've taken the children to all sorts of areas where I'm not sure anyone of that age in this family has been before. I want them to have an understanding of people's emotions, people's insecurities, people's distress, people's hopes and dreams.
The legacy of the People's Princess lives on to this day. It was her love of life, of people, of those less fortunate and of her children that saw her lead a quiet but powerful revolution.
My mother lives with me every day. She gave us the right tools and has prepared us well for life in the best way she could. The best lesson I learned from her is be yourself. Be yourself in everything that you do, and just give as much as you can.